Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. So for the fire potential impacts today, looking at Wednesday, it's going to be hot and dry. It's going to be a slight reprieve for the winds that are going to be coming over the next few days or so. So dry with temps 10 to 15 degrees above normal for today and as well as Thursday. And then on Thursday starting in, we're going to have a trough beginning to move in, and the leading edge is going to bring a lot of wind gusts. So wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour across Nevada and Utah, and a few areas will be gusting up to 50. These strong gusts are going to continue on Friday over Nevada and Utah, and then cooler temps and storms will be over the Idaho Mountains on Friday. Looking at the past 24 hours, there's only been a little bit of precipitation, probably around that 100th of an inch or so, in western Wyoming and the corner of northeastern Utah, but nothing of great impact. And then a few lightning strikes that accompanied some of that rain in western Wyoming, but most of the lightning was in Wyoming outside of our region. Looking at the Great Basin fire activity over the past 24 hours, we had a few new fires start up. The one of most impact probably in southeastern Utah, but there's also a bunch of continuing fires in Utah and in northwestern Nevada. Looking at observed precipitation over the past 7 days, Idaho's gotten a decent amount of rain. It's been keeping them out of the higher drought levels. And then we are also seeing some spotty precipitation over northern Nevada and then most of eastern Utah. However, looking at the percent of normal precipitation, this is still relatively dry across most of the Great Basin, just some parts in the southern above precipitation norms. Looking at the current fire danger conditions, we're seeing that thankfully stuff's starting to level off, so dryness isn't as increasing across most of the Great Basin. However, we still are at very high percentiles in the 90 to 97 across parts of the southern basin and in the central basin. Looking at some specifics, northwestern Utah is well above average, close to their maximum and entering critical thresholds, as well as Amargosa in Nevada. They are looking at similar conditions. Looking at satellites, right now it's hot and dry, not as many winds going on. As you can see out over the ocean, there is a trough there. That trough is going to be what's moving over our area, and as this trough moves in, the leading edge is going to create a lot of winds, and then but should also be providing some precipitation to northern Idaho, and then also cooling down our temperatures as it passes. Looking at Wednesday, general weather pattern, today's just primarily hot and dry, wind not as much of a factor, still moderate risk and low risk across most of the basin. Today, as we can see, these winds are going to be quieter, with no real concerns across the basin. Highest winds will be at the Sierra Front, northern Idaho, and western Wyoming, but nothing that needs additional warning. Today will also be a hot one, with most places well over the 90s. Thursday, the leading edge of the trough is going to start impacting into the Great Basin. This is going to bring higher winds and add some windy triggers to parts of Utah and western Nevada. Looking at these winds, they are going to be spread across most of western Utah and in the eastern parts of Nevada. The strongest gusts will especially be located in the northwestern Utah. This is going to be combined with low single-digit relative humidities in most of these wind zones. Friday, the trough draws closer and will bring some isolated showers to northern Idaho, as well as an even stronger wind event, triggering wind warnings across Utah, western Wyoming, and parts of Nevada. This moisture that we're seeing in parts of Nevada is higher level and it will not be impacting the ground as any precipitation. Looking at the wind gusts, we see relatively strong winds across most of the Great Basin, and this will be combined with single-digit relative humidities in the most areas of concern. Looking at the 3-day precipitation accumulation, we are seeing that we're going to be seeing a little bit of precipitation up in far northwestern Nevada And then northern Idaho is going to continue to be getting most of this precipitation over this event. Alright, Saturday, the leading edge of the trough moves further over into the Great Basin, leading to the strongest winds being over Utah as the low moves overhead. Rain will continue to affect parts of northern Idaho, and a few isolated showers possible in northwestern Nevada. This precip from the past few days has also helped Idaho improve into little to no risk. Sunday, these winds are going to now move into mostly eastern Utah and over Wyoming out of the Great Basin. A few strong gusts will still be clipping over in eastern Utah. Most of the Great Basin will improve to low risk as cooler temperatures take hold over the area with the passing of this trough. Monday, the cooler temperatures are going to remain on tap across the basin, and the winds mostly move out of the area, leading to a calmer day. Tuesday looks similar. Things will begin to warm and dry out a little more as the trough exits, and our fuel dryness is going to start increasing. Looking at the precipitation accumulation for 7-day total, as this trough has moved through, it looks like it's going to be bringing some precipitation to areas in northern Nevada, and then a decent amount in northern Utah, which is where most of this precipitation will be continuously occurring, and then a little bit of precipitation in that southwestern Idaho. Looking at the NOAA CPC 8 to 14 day outlook, temperature is going to be near normal or slightly below for most of the Great Basin. Again, around this time of the year, that's still pretty warm. And then looking at precipitation, going to be near normal or slightly above across the basin. This should be nice with some of this rain incoming, but still something to keep an eye on. Then if there's any questions, here are the contacts to reach out to. I hope everyone has a wonderful day.